So hello everyone, we'll start our great webinars today about future of supply chain workforce. So I would like to welcome Douglas Kent that will be part of this webinar, and he's our guest. Hello Douglas, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Okay, and I would like to welcome also Dominique, that is part of our guests. Hello Dominique.
Hi, Natty. Hi, everyone. Thank you for
Hi.
having me here.
Thank you. So we will start, and I will do a quick introduction of Douglas that will take the floor first before I present Dominique for the rest of the webinar. And then after Dominique, we'll have the ambassadors that will be able to connect and that will share their experience with Indaba. So thank you very much for making this time to connect. It's Friday and we are ready to go on the weekend for some of us. So it's a nice day to meet before we. Hello everyone. I don't know if we can cut the microphones. Thank you. Okay. So Douglas Kent is the Executive VP from the Alliance Association of Supply Chain Management. Douglas, he oversees the ISM North American chapter, international trading partners, corporate clients, and for growing and strengthening the organization's strategic collaboration. Kent has over 35 years of transformational advisory and practitioner experience with large multinational organizations. He specialized in the S-core-based transformations, supply chain strategy, and AMP, segmentation, supply chain planning, enterprise risk optimization, and supply chain visibility. Has a certified Scrum Master instructor. He has traveled the globe leading workshops, education, and transformation programs. So Kent holds a master's degree in international business from the Pepperdine University and a bachelor's degree in marketing from Indiana University, and has been adjunct faculty for more than 20 years. So welcome, Douglas. I will give you the floor and you are free to share your screen if you have a presentation.
Great, thank you so much. So glad to be here. Let me attempt to share my screen. Thank you for giving me the option. Okay, hopefully you can now see my screen, everyone. So just by, yes, you can see everyone?
Yes, we can see.
Perfect, thank you. So just by short introduction, so as mentioned, representing today, very proudly, the Association of Supply Chain Management. It's the largest supply chain nonprofit in the world for supply chain. We have about 48,000 members across the globe. And of course, we work in close association with PtD and IAPHL, basically to share our mission and concern about making sure that supply chain can work to make the world better. That's really our mission, making the world better through supply chain. We are, in fact, a signatory to the United Nations Global Compact as well. I had the luxury of being at the COP28 conference last week to present our viewpoint on supply chain. So today's discussion is really what's happening with supply chain and why is the workforce so important. And really, we're in a stage of disruption. It's continuing to be a very crazy world relative to supply chain, not just because of the pandemic, but there are a lot of macro forces which are happening that we need to learn to become much more resilient. And that's what the workforce needs to understand, is that we're not bouncing back to a state of normal. We're actually bouncing forward to a state of ongoing disruption, and our supply chains need to be reinforced for resiliency. And those disruptive events over the course of the last few years, as I mentioned, have increased in terms of their volume, but also in the variety of their different disruptions. All different types of disruptions, geopolitical disruptions, of course, the pandemic, we can't forget that. We have ongoing conflicts relative to the Ukraine, Israel, which is happening. And all of these, the volume and the variety of these disruptions is really putting, in a good way, new light on the supply chain, but in a difficult way means that we have to figure out how we manage supply chain in a different way. And that comes right down into the workforce. And today, what's unusual compared to the past is the fact that these disruptions can cause, extreme economic harm, and even, are being weaponized or exploited in some ways with the degree of cyber attacks which are happening. There's very high concern relative to counterfeit goods, illicit trade activities. We have desperate needs in terms of raw material shortages. But we also have to be concerned about labor relative to making sure that we have living wages, that we're not exploiting child labor, et cetera. So all of these things are, continuing to challenge our ability to manage the supply chain effectively and efficiently. When we take a look at what that means for the workforce, it means we have to consider that we are becoming much more digitally dependent. And that's a challenge for the workforce, because in many cases, what is happening is that the technology is moving very swiftly, but our ability to manage that technology, our ability to exercise all of the capabilities of that technology are becoming limited, not because of the availability of technology, not because of the price of the technology, but because our workforce hasn't yet reached up to the level to be able to manage the technology effectively, to really leverage that investment into the supply chain. And there are three critical areas of that: is visibility, transparency, and traceability. In the supply chain, of course, we have multiple flows that happen within the supply chain. We typically think about that in terms of the physical flow, the actual movement of products, but also the information flow and the financial flow. What challenges us today, of course, is the ability also to manage it in a sustainable way, making sure that we're managing both people, profit, and planet. And that becomes very important in terms of how we consume energy and other resources, water, how we manage waste, and how we effectively manage risk within the supply chain, identifying where risk opportunities do exist and what their potential impacts on the supply chain are. So these combination of factors put a great deal of importance on the supply chain to help to manage gaining visibility, gaining transparency, gaining traceability across the supply chain. When it comes to visibility, we really need to be able to have the information to support the operations effectively, to identify the potential of risk. And that goes way beyond tier 1, that goes into tier 2, tier 3, et cetera. And being able to understand the importance of the connectivity to manage the risk. And so visibility and transparency connect together in order for us to manage clarity, visibility, but it has an underlying importance on how effective is our transparency. Do we have data hygiene? Is the data that we're using accurate? Is it reliable? And that means that if we go beyond the tier 1, that the suppliers and the customers are getting that information, We have to manage that in a very difficult ecosystem relative to compliance and regulation, et cetera. And in the healthcare, the public healthcare business, of course, traceability is super important to make sure that we have the ability to manage traceability throughout the entire supply chain, from end to end, all the way from the development supply chain to the last mile delivery to a patient, for example. It becomes critically important that we have that level of traceability. In our organization, it becomes very important that we help the community at large to transform to a more digitally enabled supply chain and make sure that the talent is up to the task. And one of the things that we undertook over the course of the last 18 to 24 months was identifying what are those digital capabilities which are necessary to manage a supply chain effectively, to make that supply chain more resilient, and how could we best represent that in terms of the SCORE model, which of course is by far the most utilized framework for modeling and diagnosing the health of your overarching supply chain. So we released a new SCORE model with these digital capabilities embedded, with sustainability factors embedded, and that release came in September of 2022. And the other important thing, of course, is that that model, that framework, is available to now anyone in the world free of charge. So in order to meet these digital transformation objectives, in terms of including improving visibility, including transparency, making the supply chain more cost efficient, using the data to drive decision making, etc., these overarching digital objectives become very, very important for our workforce to be able to understand how to be more proficient in utilizing these capabilities. So the good news is we now know, all the players in our supply chain, it's being reinforced. We have to understand our tier 1 to tier 2, tier 3. We have to understand the entirety of that ecosystem. But that unveils and illuminates a lot of issues relative to the various players in our supply chain. So today, we just want to make sure that everybody understands you need to understand your supply chain maturity, understand the strength and the weaknesses associated with your workforce. It's time to invest in your talent. They still remain the greatest asset within the organization. We need to be able to transform our entire ecosystem to not only continuously improve, but move from the old norm to whatever that new normal might be and be able to become much more resilient. And as an association, we're here to assist with that in terms of developing those frameworks, assisting organizations for transformation, and most importantly, help you invest in your workforce. So very quick view of what is supply chain today, the importance of our human resources and our talent in that equation. And please stay in touch. And I hope to see most of you, if not all of you, at the Indaba in Bangkok in March of next year. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Douglas. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this presentation. So we'll give the floor to Dominique. Let me share my screen to do a quick introduction. Dominique, your microphone is off, just to make sure. Okay. So we received Dominique just after the class. Dominique is a strategic and relationship-driven manager with a passion for delivering meaningful impact. She is an international development professional with 25 years of experience. Since 2016, Dominique has been responsible for the management and overall performance of People That Deliver, PtD, a broad coalition of organizations working together to raise the profile of the health supply chain workforce as a key strategic area for health system. Prior to PtD, she worked for 10 years on the HIV and AIDS supply chain at the Partnership for Supply Chain Management, which produced and delivered essential life-saving medicine and related commodities to HIV and AIDS program around the world. So we would like to welcome Dominique, who is the executive manager at PtD. Welcome, Dominique.
Thank you, Nati. And
do you have a presentation that you would like to share?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Okay.
I think let me just speak a little bit, and then I'll want to share my screen and just show the PtD Global Indaba website, if that works for you, Nati.
Okay, sure.
Okay, thank you. So again, hello everyone. So good morning and good afternoon and good evening. I'm really happy to join this IAPHL webinar with Nati and Douglas, and of course all of the IAPHL ambassadors. I'm very keen to hear their stories, their perspectives on the Global Indaba. And it's wonderful to have an opportunity to speak to you about this upcoming Global Indaba conference. As People That Deliver just wrote in our latest newsletter, our new mantra really is no people, no program. And that is really what the Global Indaba is all about, with next year's theme being the supply chain workforce, solutions to transform health supply chains. This conference really serves as a beacon of collaboration, innovation, and commitment to global health supply chain systems. It's a conference and not just a meeting, right? It really is a testament of the collective dedication of individuals and organizations striving to ensure that essential health commodities reach those patients who need them most. It's really a movement, I would say, a movement driven by the belief that everyone, regardless of their location or circumstances, deserves access to quality healthcare. And it is a celebration of the tireless efforts of those who work behind the scenes, often unseen, to ensure that health supplies reach the last mile. At the heart of this conference is this community of passionate professionals. Many of you within IAPHL are these passionate professionals, these experts and advocates, all united by a common purpose to improve the effectiveness, efficiency, and equity of health supply chains worldwide. So this conference is not really just about discussing strategies, but it's also about forging partnerships, sharing insights, and creating solutions that have a tangible impact on the lives of people around the globe. So let's say, why should you come to the People That Deliver Global Indaba conference in Thailand? I just want to highlight to you several compelling reasons that make this event a must attend for professionals working in our space. So the conference is tailored for you. It's specifically designed for professionals like you who are immersed in the complexities of public health supply chain management. It is crafted to meet the unique needs and challenges faced by individuals like you. It will give you invaluable insights into the tools and approaches that can optimize the performance of the health supply chain workforce. The knowledge that you acquire here can also be instrumental in enhancing the efficiency and effectiveness of health supply chains in your countries. Seize the opportunity to engage directly with donors and understand the investment priorities, but also country government representatives and the private sector. There's going to be direct interaction and open doors for collaboration, funding opportunities, and aligning efforts with the broader goals of those supporting global health initiatives. So you may ask yourself, why did we choose Thailand? So Thailand and Southeast Asia offer a very unique perspective on addressing common challenges in health supply chain management. Learn from the diverse strategies employed in Asia, a region that's integral to global supply chains, but is yet often overlooked in terms of workforce development. Southeast Asia, much like Sub-Saharan Africa, faces similar challenges in fragmented supply chains and a lack of dedicated professionals. So this conference is going to give you an opportunity to engage in knowledge exchange sessions, drawing parallels between the different regions and identifying innovative solutions. And then understand the challenges faced by the health supply chain workforces in places like Thailand and Vietnam and other countries in Southeast Asia, where there is a lack of specialized professionals. So be part of the discussions aimed at convincing policy decision makers to invest in this crucial workforce. So I would say try to secure funding to attend this conference. Sorry. You will return to the office armed with the latest initiatives and research findings, equipped with ideas and knowledge to share with your teams. And you will gain exposure, like I said before, to country representatives, donors, and peers, fostering invaluable connections for potential collaborations and partnership. The program itself is strategically focused on delivering solutions to human resource challenges. The program as well is a very diverse program featuring many types of presentations, panel discussions, workshops, as well as interactive sessions to facilitate engagement and active learning. And then dedicate ample time to networking and providing the perfect platform to connect with fellow professionals, country supply chain leaders, and potential collaborators. So just some practical details. It is a week-long engagement, so think about coming early. The conference itself spans from Wednesday to Friday, but there are additional side events on Monday and Tuesday, ensuring a very comprehensive and enriching experience. On Friday, as you may have seen through communications, IAPHL will be hosting its first ever conference event with a half day focused on creating the future together with IAPHL. This will be followed by a workshop led by ASCM's Douglas Kent. As far as accommodation, we have a discounted rate with our partner hotel, the Royal Orchid Sheraton Hotels and Towers. And do think about the visa requirements. So plan ahead by checking and fulfilling visa requirements to ensure a smooth travel experience. You can find more information about accommodation and visas on our event website, including, of course, registration. And as a member of IAPHL, you will receive the early bird price until mid-January for $350. And in a moment, I'll show you the website. So just lastly, come to Thailand is an opportunity to immerse yourself in a wealth of knowledge, forge meaningful connections, and contribute to the transformation of global health supply chains. We invite you to be part of this transformative experience. Come for the week, engage, learn, and return with the insights and tools to make lasting impact to supply chains in your region. The discussions and collaborations born out of this conference are just they're not abstract. They contribute to building more resilient, responsive, and equitable health supply chains. As a participant, you become an agent of change, contributing to the transformation at a global scale. So let me just show you the website. I will share my screen. Hopefully that works. Hopefully everybody can see this. If you go to www.ptdevents.org, you'll find the event website. You will find under conference all the information about the Indaba, how to register, what the current agenda is, information about our career square, which is going to be an exhibition hall for all kinds of educational providers of health supply chain management, academic and technical courses. You'll find more information about the partners and sponsors. And then under useful information, you'll find information about accommodation, the visa, and all of the FAQs. And of course, if there's anybody here that's interested in sponsoring the event, we're always looking for more sponsorship to help us bring more people to the conference. And that's it. So thank you very much, Natty, for giving me this opportunity. Over to you, and hoping to learn more from the IAPHL ambassadors.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dominique. So we would like to give the floor to our IAPHL ambassadors that was part of the last year Indaba at Zambia. I'm trying to read at the participant and see where our ambassadors. Okay, I can see Olga. Hello, Olga. Are you there? I don't know if you're in a place where you can speak. Okay, or maybe Zacharias. Zachariah, are you there? Are you in
Yes, I'm
position
here.
to speak? Okay, thank you. How are you?
I am fine.
Okay, we would like you to share your experience at the past Indaba. I think we can take maybe three of our ambassadors before we go to the question. So the floor is yours.
All right. So how many minutes am I going to speak?
You can have 5 minutes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. My name is Zarihun Zacharias from Ethiopia, and I am one of the co-founding members of the Ethiopian IAPHL chapter. So, you know, after having a very competitive process to be an ambassador for IAPHL, PtD, Zambia, Lusaka, I was among 11 ambassadors. So it was really very amazing experience. And also it was my first time to attend such kind of conference. And I really enjoyed everything in the conference and got some insights like public-private partnership and how to strengthen the country chapters, especially using smart advocacy. So as soon as I returned from the conference, PtD Indaba, with some of my friends, we planned to share what we have so far, you know, get from the conference, and we just created some Zoom meeting, and we shared everything what we have experienced, you know, create just forming some slides. So among that, we have used smart advocacy, how to strengthen the IAPHL Ethiopian chapter, as well as how to recruit some new members to this supply chain community. So then after, because of this conference, I was really so much motivated, and I just tried to, you know, share some supply chain terminologies for the Ethiopian chapter. So I think we are the second, second or third, the biggest IAPHL community as a chapter. So we had around, you know, more than 600 members in our Telegram channel. You know, we use, Ethiopians, we use Telegram instead of WhatsApp. So we used to update everything concerning some supply chain, you know, scholarships, learning opportunities. And my role for this year, after I returned from Zambia, is that to post in the channel about supply chain terms. So I'm taking the lead role in doing so. So every day I used to post this kind of supply chain terms, and that is because of the connection or the motivation I got from the PtD Indaba, Zambia, Lusaka. So, and I like the PtD theories, because one of the theory is, I think, motivation. And so really I was very motivated, and I had a very amazing professional networking, and I got some online educational training materials, and I shared with my Ethiopian country chapter, and everybody is accessing those materials, and they are being certified. So really, it was an eye-opening, and yeah, I really enjoyed. So the last but not the least thing I want to mention is that the experience of the Zambia, because the PtD has, it just chooses a country very strategically, and the Zambia Minister of Affairs shared us many things, and some of things were shared to my country chapter, and some of those things are being implemented. So to make the long story short, I am proud to be IAPHL ambassador, and really I want to thank everybody working with, and thank you. This is all I can share you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much. So I will give the floor to Aruna. I think Aruna Sabo is in. Aruna. Hello, Aruna.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. Oh my God. Oh yeah.
Maybe we can give the floor to Amara while Aruna prepares.
Oh my God. Oh yeah.
Hello, Aruna. Can you hear us? Your microphone is off. I don't know if you are able to speak. Okay. Okay, so I think we have technical issue with their microphones. So we'll proceed and go ahead with questions. If you have any questions about Dominique presentation or the class, feel free to take the floor and ask your question, or you can put it in the chat box and I will read it for you guys. So the floor is yours. Feel free to ask questions. Do you have any questions about the upcoming Indaba? Everything was clear, no questions? Okay, so Dominique, apparently we don't have questions today. The presentation was so good that everything was clear.
Well, I'm happy to hear that. That's
And
great.
do you have any question for Douglas? Anything on the future and supply chain presented by Douglas? Okay.
Hope to
Well-
hope to see you all in Bangkok.
Okay. Oh, we have a question from Zacharias. And okay, the question is to know if IAPHL is planning to recruit ambassadors for the upcoming Indaba.
Question for Timmy.
Okay. So I think Timmy is not in the good place to speak about it, but we will cover this point on our chapter meeting with the leaders, and we'll be communicating for all the opportunities we'll get to be able to sponsor our members to come, but not yet for now.
Yeah, so Natty, just wanted to reiterate that it is going to be a half day focused on IAPHL on that Friday, the 8th of March. Building the future together with IAPHL. So a wonderful opportunity for all IAPHL members to come together, meet and learn from each other. First time this will happen, and just a really great opportunity. So I just wanted to mention that.
Okay. Timmy, would you like to speak? I'm not sure to see your microphone open.
Yes, Natty.
Okay.
I am now in a good place to speak. I thank you for holding forth. I will begin by saying thank you to everyone for joining us on this call today. And then thank you to Dominique and Douglas for obliging to come and speak to us about the future of supply chain, and then about what we should expect at the Global Indaba. I saw the question from Zach, and thank you, Zach, for sharing your experience with us from PtD Indaba at Lusaka. In Zambia. So for the sponsorship, like Natty mentioned, we are still working with some of our partners to see how many members we can sponsor as ambassadors for IAPHL. We have seen the benefit of the last exercise about the sponsoring, and we are really hopeful and expectant that we can pull that through again this season, to have a couple of persons represent us. So I would just say that you should look out for any communication about the recruitment of members, and I'm sure that we'll have a couple represent us at the Global Indaba. And then just to ride on Dominique's thoughts about IAPHL Half Day, yes, she has rightfully presented it for us. It's a unique opportunity that the PtD Indaba has granted IAPHL to converge in person for the first time and really talk to each other, generate ideas that we transform the community of practice, and ultimately our individual practices in the different places where we contribute to the supply chain ecosystem. So this is a call for us to get geared up, prepare, and let's meet at the Global Indaba come March 2024. We are really hoping to have a fun time beyond just having presentations shared with people. We rather want to have people participate in hands-on, fun learning forum where we can both socially connect and have some technical exchanges in the midst of our social connection while we build the future of supply chain together. I usually say that when you talk about the workforce of supply chain, that IAPHL is the workforce, and you have heard it in Dominique's thoughts that we are the one that are in the trenches. We are the one that see the complexity of supply chain everywhere we work. So it's important for us to take this very unique opportunity. I encourage all of us to also encourage our colleagues that may not be on this call at this time to register and let us participate and see how we can create a workforce of the future that really delivers commodity to the last mile and make the populace healthier. So thank you very much. I will pass it back to Nati. I apologize I couldn't speak earlier because I was away. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you very much for making this time for this webinar. So we are at the end of the webinar, and we thank you again for taking this time to connect. So we are looking forward to meet you at the Indaba in March, and feel free to ask any question either to me or to Dominique or to the class. And good weekend. Good weekend to all.
Thank you, Nati. Thank you, everyone. We also have the link in the chat for the Global Indaba registration. We will also be sharing it as much as we can to remind us and get us registered.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you, everyone.
Thank you, Nati and
Thank you.
and everyone.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Zach.